Hi, I'm Allie. Join me as I show you how to do these 4-point earrings, which are created out of RounDuos and some seed beads. Remember, if you need any supplies, go ahead and look below the video in the description, and you can gather up your supplies from our website. As always, if you hit that little subscribe button when we do more videos, you don't miss them at all. Once you've got your supplies gathered up, let's get started. So to begin the earrings, we are going to start with 4 of our RounDuo beads. And I have an 11 seed bead between each one. And I'm also going to add an 11 seed bead after. I have this on some size 6 white dragon thread. And I'm going to drop it to the bottom of the thread and simply tie a knot. As I tie a knot, I want to make sure that my thread, when I tie my second knot here, doesn't get twisted around my beads at all. Nice tight pull. And then we're going to go in and start to add our right angle weave. So we're going to do 2 units of right angle weave that connect to the 11 seed beads that sit in between the RounDuos. I'm going to go from the knot right here through that first RounDuo. I'm going to go into the 11 seed bead there. And as I exit the 11 seed bead, we're going to add 3 more beads for that right angle weave unit. We add 1, 2, 3, circle around, and go back through that same 11 seed bead. Once you're through that 11, we're going to go through seed bead number 1 that you added and seed bead number 2 that you added. So to the top of that right angle unit. Once you're at the top of that right angle unit, we're going to add a second unit there. 3 more beads go on, and I'm going into the opposite side of the bead my thread is currently coming out of. And then I'm going to go down through bead number 3 there that we put on the first rotation, back through that middle bead. And then we're going to go through the next RounDuo through that same first hole. We haven't moved to the second hole at all yet. Just that first hole, and we're going to repeat into that 11 that sits between. And once you're into that 11 sitting between, 1, 2, 3 more 11s go on. Circle back through that same 11 seed bead. Go through beads 1 and bead number 2 that you just added. You're going to add 3 more beads. Go back into the bead that your thread is coming out of, hole number 2, the bead number 2 there, through the opposite side, rounding that out. And then you're going to go down through bead number 2, or 3 rather, of those original first 3, and then into that bead that sits on the bottom and through the next RounDuo bead. So we're going to go the whole way around, and we're going to do this 2 more times, adding those 2 units of right angle weave between our RounDuos. Do you want to know how to save over 50% on jewelry making kits? With a monthly kit subscription, you'll get 3 new kits for as little as $49.99. Remember, that's for 3 kits. That's a savings of up to $70 per box, plus you get free domestic shipping. This month, we have our best ever deals for new subscribers, including free tools, added boxes and kits, and even our ultimate beading kit for annual subscribers. Visit PotomacBeads.com/subscribe or click on the link in the description. After finishing up that 4th little corner here, you're coming out of that central bottom bead. And what we're going to do is we're going to go back up through bead number 1, bead number 2, and down bead number 3 from that second set of 3. So your thread should be exiting down towards the RounDuo, coming out the left-hand side there. We're going to pick up our 3mm bicone, as well as 1, 2, 3, and 4 11 seed beads. As you do so, you're going to go to the opposite side of the next RounDuo and sew in from the left toward the right. That's going to kind of pull that crystal down. I want you to go back through beads number 1 and 2 after the crystal. Give a nice tight pull. Add 1 more 11 seed bead and come down through beads 3 and 4. After that little triangle that you've created, you're going to add another 3mm crystal and then go up into the 3 beads that sit along the top of this second right angle weave unit. Coming down again along that left-hand side here, you're going to add a crystal, 1, 2, 3, and 4 of our 11 seed beads. Going into the second hole of the RounDuo, going from the far side toward the side you're working on. Back up through beads number 1 and 2 right after the crystal that you just put on. That's going to pull that right on top of the RounDuo. Kind of push that down. And you can see with my fingers I'm kind of keeping it straight. I'm going to add one more of my 11 seed beads to get that nice little point down through the beads on the second side there. Add a crystal up through the 3 top 11 beads on that right angle unit. Once you're out, you add your crystal, 1, 2, 3, and 4 seed beads into the next RounDuo, from the opposite side, bringing that over the top, back into beads number 1 and 2 after the crystal, pulling nice and tight to get that point, add a 5th bead for your point, and then go down beads 3 and 4. 2 more times for this. You're going to add a total of 8 crystals for each earring. Go around the side here. And as we finish up this last side, we're going to get ready then to put our bigger crystal on the bottom. However, you do not have to add the bigger drop if you want something a little bit more lightweight, or if you want to connect these for a bracelet, you can certainly do so as well. And look at them as individual components that can be used and added with right angle weave. As I put in my last seed bead here, I'm going to come down through the sides. I'm going to add my crystal, and I'm going up into the beads along the side. Now, I want my crystal here at the bottom to come out through the bottom of one of my RounDuos. So I'm going to go through all the way around the top here till I get to that point opposite the RounDuo. Once you get opposite the RounDuo here, I'm going into one of those 5th bead points that we've created. I'm going to kind of stretch out and let my form sit nicely. I'm going to grab my crystal, come down through the top of the crystal. Any crystal will work for a drop for this. I'm adding 1, 2, and 3 11 seed beads, and we're going to go back up through the crystal. Those 3 seed beads on the bottom just create that little point that mimic the whole design. When we come out the top of the crystal, we're going to go into the opposite side of the 11 So the thread was coming out the top and going into the crystal. Now I'm going into the bottom. What that is going to do is make sure that that crystal sits correctly. We're going to take our needle and thread the whole way then around the piece until we get to the point on the opposite side. When we get to the point on the opposite side, going around this outer edge, we're going to put on our wire guard. Now, I've already gone through with my wire guard and taken my pliers and kind of pinched it together a little bit. The reason I'm pinching it together is because my wire guard is going to sit on top of one bead. It's not branching over between beads. It is just going into one singular bead. When that happens, generally I take my wire guard with my plier and just pinch it shut a little bit so it's less of that horseshoe shape and more of a teardrop shape. Going around this outer edge, we're almost to the top here. And once we get there, then we're going to come out just like we did along the bottom through one of those 5th beads, or 5th bead rather. And when we're coming out there, we're going to grab our wire guard or wire guardian, go through the wire guardian, down the opposite side of the wire guardian until we get to the bottom of it. Now, just like we did with the drop along the bottom, we're coming out the left side there, so I'm going to go into the right side because we want that to sit centered right there along the top. We're going to go back into the wire guard one more time around just to reinforce that. And then to end our thread, all we're going to do is tie the thread end onto the knot that we've created in the middle. Making sure when you put your wire guard on and the second piece of thread through, give a tight little pull. You want to make sure that it sits inside that thread end. Make sure you're finishing the look where you go through the seed bead at the end from the opposite direction, and then you're going to come into the piece through your RounDuo from the interior, or for the second hole down to the first hole. You're going to take your needle and thread the whole way back till it matches and meets. And then once you have it there, you're just going to take those two thread ends, tie them together, and open up your ear wire. When you open up your ear wire, you always want to pull that wire to the side rather than pulling back. If your ear wire will not go on because it is too tiny, you just put it into the back of the ear wire, drop it down on, and then you're going to twist that ear wire to close so it keeps that nice teardrop shape and you don't throw off the form at all. And that's it. Nice, simple, pretty earrings, all finished, ready to go. Thanks so much for joining me in creating these 4-point earrings. It's fun to see the different ways that you can have those multi-hole beads come together in groups of 4, make some right angle weave 4 groups of beads, and continue on with 4 little points. As always, if you need materials, look below the video in the description and hit that show more button, and when you click on that, that'll give you links back to our website. If you haven't yet, also hit that subscribe button so you don't miss anything from us here at Potomac Beads. Thanks so much for watching, and enjoy your new earrings.